All right, perfect. Okay, so we are recording. So make sure you don't say any bad things about people, 'cause this is all being recorded. And we're going to get started. All right, so whether I actually use this. This is Dr. Friedman's X-ray, and he shared it with me. But I did a guest lecture for a department for facial pain residency at University of Michigan, and this is how I opened my presentation. I simply asked them, what do you see in this X-ray? And so if you're unmuted, I would like for this to be interactive. If you're unmuted, what I would ask you is if you see an X-ray that looks like this, what would you say that you see there? Just I'd love to hear your take on it.
Hey, Jonathan, I'm not seeing your slide.
Okay.
I don't see a slide either, Dak.
I just got your text. All right, bear with me 1 second here. Thank you guys for that. So it says
John, I don't know if you can hear me, but there's no audio either.
there we go. Okay. Can you see anything on my screen?
No.
I can see your cursor, and that's about it. I can't see the.
Okay, we're gonna try this again. How about that?
Great.
I still don't see anything.
All right. I'm really sorry because it says that I'm sharing Keynote. I'm clicking around here to see. Bear with me just 1 second. So I apologize. I don't want it to be, certainly don't want it to waste your time. How about now? Do you see anything there?
Nothing.
No, I see your mouse moving. I could see the menu, but we can't see anything on the screen.
Dr. Kocher, I can see you, but I can't hear you. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the slide, and
No,
a
I
thumbs down if you can't see it.
can't see it.
Nothing but gray, John.
John, can you hear me?
Jonathan?
Okay, I'm going to turn my video off.
Jonathan, can you hear me
All right,
now?
try that. All right. Excellent. Right. Can you guys please, can you at least hear me? Can you hear the audio? Can you hear me speaking?
It was too loud. They're having technical difficulties. I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Audio.
And I couldn't turn it down.
Let's try this again.
But yeah, they haven't actually started yet. And I'm just nervous. Even though I know I'm on mute, I'm just still nervous.
Now,
But yeah, I'm on mute. But yeah, they're having technical difficulties. I can see.
all right. I need someone to type in the chat so I can see the slide. So, I'm so sorry. That is so embarrassing. It says that I'm sharing it. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it's not. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk through it. I'll send you guys the slide set afterwards. So how about that? Okay, so you see the keynote toolbar at the top, Bartosh, better audio, okay. And then what about, I've made this slide full screen. Can you see that? No. Okay.
Hey, Jonathan,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Have you used Keynote with this before?
Yeah. Every time.
Right. And you just download it, you hit that third bar in and go to a share file, right?
Yep. And then it lets me pick what I want to share. And then,
Right. Why don't you click it out and try to reload it one more time?
sure, I can do that. So you mean go out of the meeting?
No, not go out of the meeting, but just click the top tab. I can't see it because you're the host, but there's like a tab at the top, and you could just click, and you can erase it
Okay.
or remove it somewhere, and then maybe try to upload it again. I haven't had the issue, so.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. I see it.
Okay. So here is just
Does everybody see that?
so.
No, I still can't see anything.
All right. I'm gonna stop sharing, and then I'm gonna do share content here. Click on Keynote. All right. Can anybody see that now?
No, still can't see anything.
All right. Hey, Russell, can I pass this? I'm going to pass it off to you for a second and try restarting my WebEx.
who's on right now? While we're waiting for Jonathan, I could talk for a while. I was going to listen to him for a bit. Does anybody have a question? I can entertain for a few minutes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep, I can hear you.
Excellent.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Let me see if I can pull something up since I'm the host now. Let me see if I can pull up a file. Give me a minute.
I'm really sorry about that. Russell, I shared it with you just to see, I mean, if whatever we can do. I don't.
Have you been? Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Can you guys
Yep.
see that picture?
Very good,
Yes.
Russell.
Yeah, so I just downloaded just shared a picture, Jonathan. Something on your end is not working.
Sure.
So I'll tell you what, do you want to Dropbox me
I just shared, I just emailed you a link to their presentation. Maybe you can pull it up.
emailed it to me?
Yes. It'll be from a weird email address, but if you can just see if you can pull it up, we'll get rocking.
Somewhere in like Slovakia, where you have like your gold treasure or something.
Right. No, it's from a Mac email address.
Okay, well let me see if I get it. I'm not seeing it right now.
I sent it to
I'm
RF
not
at
seeing it.
USM3.
Right, I got you. I'm on my computer, so I'm waiting for it. I'm not seeing it either. Checking for mail. Jonathan, do you ever use? No, it says I don't see anything. You have a Dropbox account?
I do.
Let's just try to blast it to me for a minute, and let's see if we can get this thing going in 5 minutes if I can get it, because I'll just put it up for you. Where's my phone? Anyway, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'll try to entertain you for a few minutes. Well, I'm trying to see if we can get Jonathan's stuff up here. So this picture, if you take a look at it, what do you notice right off the bat? Anybody?
Dropped right shoulder.
Okay, so you notice that. Okay, so I'm a guy that likes to look at the flow of the human body. Okay, so I have left the arena of the low shoulder and the atlas had a place and the right low hip. I want to know what's going on with this. Somebody talk to me about what this human being is doing and what the posture is doing and what it's not doing. And see, like, just from this, without any numbers, just looking at what's going on with the lines that are in there.
It looks like that neck is collapsing into the right. There's a weakness on the left side of the neck.
Right. Okay, so tell me something
And
about the flow of it.
hmm,
I'd say the body's collapsing on the right side in general, and through the lumbar area there, it looks like there are a couple spots the body's trying to pull to the left to hold it up, but overall it's falling off to the right.
Okay, hold on, I'm trying to get Jonathan's thing to download on my computer while we're doing this. I may need you to stop that for a minute. Sorry. Try to get this thing downloaded for him.
I can try to share one more time and see. Do you want me to try that?
Give it a go.
Anybody see that?
no, gray.
Oh, still gray.
Nope, can't see it.
Wow, that's crazy. All right.
Okay, so I'm going to see how fast this thing downloads. I'm at home, so we'll give it a few minutes. But the thing that's happening that I see right off the bat is that you have a right low hip and you also have a right low shoulder. Okay, and that is probably not compensating correctly. All right, so right off the bat, you see that there's, like I think Dennis said, that you have this left weakness. All right, and you see that probably I don't have, you can't see the rest of it, but you can see the teeth, and if you notice how they're tipping downward on the left-hand side, the right side being your right side.
Mm-hmm.
So that neck looks like it's taken just about everything. Okay, so I'm about halfway downloaded, um, so right off the bat, you should be able to see that left side is having a problem. So if you're going to go and adjust this person without any numbers and just looking at the flow of it, you would think that you would have to support that right side, right?
For
Right.
sure.
For sure, right. Okay. Right. So let's assume, just for fun, that this person is all right, every single thing about him except the left head tilt, okay? He's got 5 rights. Okay, what I mean by that is you have a right low hip, you have a right spine, you have a right shoulder, you have a right neck, and you have a right weight, okay? So everything is breaking down into that right side. There's nothing on the left side that can handle it, okay? It's falling over, it's tipping, it's tipping, it's tipping, and the only thing, the saving grace, is the head is able to turn so that the eyes can be on the horizon, okay? So if that person was a left low back patient. Oh, I got to download. Okay, let me see if we can continue this someday. It ain't my party. Let me see what I got. Oh yeah, here it comes. Here it comes. Come on.
Wait for it. So I'll be sending everyone a puppy for wasting your time for a half hour tonight.
Okay, here we go, man. Kaboom. Is this it? Jonathan?
We still see your X-ray.
Why is that? Hold on a second. Okay, it's loading the file.
It would.
Come on.
Oh, you look good, man, with the black screen there.
Okay, so anyway, I can't see the X-ray, but I can see it in my brain. So hopefully this thing is going to load up. But it's a pretty decent sized file. That's maybe what's taken the time with it. So and I don't have a ton of bandwidth here. That's why it took a little bit of download time. I'm like not dial up, but it's about the next level up living out where I live. So anyway, with that X-ray that you were able to see and I'm not seeing, is if that person had everything leaning to the right, okay, everything is breaking down on the right, and you had some up, how about that?
Not yet.
Can you see it?
No.
What do you mean? I'm looking
White
right
screen.
at it.
It's changing. Hold on. It's changed.
We have a white screen.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is. You rock, man.
Okay, we're cool.
We're good.
Dude, I'm really gonna get something nice in the mail, I think,
Yes.
this week. What do you think, from somewhere up in Michigan?
Yes. Well, I think everybody watching is going to send you something too, because they're going to get so much value now that they can see the pretty pictures.
There you go. All right, man, it's all yours.
Hey, can we make sure that we're recording again?
Recording is in progress. Yes, so it should be good. Should be good. All right, beautiful. So if you'll go to the next slide, please. This is so crazy. All right.
I'm wondering if you can. Okay, so I have to control the slides for you, yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. You got it. Keep going.
I'll send you two.
I'm just gonna go to mute and I'll listen.
Okay. All right. So there we go. All right. So this is a picture Russell shared with me, an X-ray of a patient. I actually had the privilege of meeting this guy in his office. But what I ask people when I do this, I shared part of this presentation, this slide for sure, with a facial pain residency group of doctors at University of Michigan, and I just asked them, the question, hey, what do you see here, and what would you do in this situation? And it was interactive, and they said, wow, it looks like things are out of alignment. He looks like he's in a lot of pain, and I said, this guy's got grand mal seizures, trigeminal neuralgia. He's got a neurologist for the seizures, another neurologist for the TN. He's seeing PT. He's obviously seeing a cardiologist, the pacemaker in his heart. He's got all of this stuff that this guy's going to. And with that conversation, talking to other professionals, is, hey, this is what you guys are up against. Hey, need everyone to mute your microphone so that we don't hear any background noise, if you would, please. So this is what you're up against as, allopathic physicians that I was talking to. You've got patients in pain, got this epidemic of narcotics, and right now there's a push in the community that doesn't revolve around emergency or narcotic care and toward holistic health care. That's a push in the community. And neither you nor I believe that chiropractic care cures everything or anything. It doesn't need to. The question is then, how many of you think that the body is designed to be healthy? And we'll go to the next slide. So it's the same X-ray on that one, but the question becomes, is the body designed to be healthy? And when there's time for interaction, we would go into that, and I would let people talk. And it's a rhetorical question, and the answer is that no, the body is not necessarily designed to be healthy. And I'm going to challenge you to look at the body, not trying to convince you of anything, but patients that we'll run into, we're always going to encounter them, and we have to start looking at the body, and that it's not necessarily designed to be healthy, but there are stressors, pressures, cold, hot. The nervous system is upregulated, and the body is designed to adapt. That is the key. Tell this guy's parents that the body was designed to be healthy. It's not fair to say that, but it is designed to adapt. And our job as doctors is to help the body adjust to the stresses that life puts on it, right? So when you close your eyes, 94% of your brain goes to work to figure out where you are in space. It's all neurological. And your job, other doctors in the world, when you're looking at a cold or an arm that's half in and out of the skin or whatever you see, is to help that person adapt to whether it's through a cast, whether it's through PT, whether it's through a referral. And so even if we look at body breakdown, osteoarthritis, that's just bad loading patterns on a joint. It's wolf, it's physics, it's bad posture. And so we need to be having this conversation. And if you're not having these conversations with your patients, then they're going to be looking for people that are. So that's a conversation I have with MDs in my community about what it is that we're doing. So let's go to the next slide. This is so old school, and the guy would be like, next slide, please, and then it would happen. So then I share these slides in my office, and we're going to skip through some of these for the sake of time. But everybody knows you need to exercise properly and have proper nutrition and proper rest and positive mental attitude. Those are given. We'll go to the next slide, please. But there are biohacks that we need to be talking about if we're going to age gracefully, age with dignity. And so those 4 hacks that we teach in our office are: we have to have proper alignment, we have to have proper nerve flow, we have to have proper circulation, and we have to have proper cellular repair. So let's go to the next slide. And then for cellular repair, I talk to people about the laser that we use. We reduce spasm. It's for pain relief, really relevant to this conversation, but it's really cool in the community. And here's why I do this. The laser is not important to our care, but it meets the needs of people if they have a structural issue in a joint, like helping with arthritis or improving flexibility and function. And because this is a to the community part of my talk, there are people who are not ready yet for the rest of my message, but who are interested in reducing spasm. So not relevant to this talk, but it certainly gets people's attention so that I can gain their credibility and talk about the next couple slides. So let's keep moving there. We're going to skip these for the sake of time. I also talk to people about proper circulation. Again, I'm warming them up with these things that they haven't really thought about. So we'll skip 2 slides ahead. And once we talk about, let's keep going there. Once we talk about the circulation effect and let's stop right there, is now people are saying, okay, this is really interesting. This is stuff that I haven't really heard about. So in a persuasive speech, you always save the most important for last. And so I start with things that aren't quite as important, and then I get into proper alignment, and I talk about how joints break down. That leads to arthritis, how gravity always wins, right? You hear Russell talk about that all the time. I talk about joint replacements. Look, if somebody's got 30 pounds more weight on one side, are they going to need a new hip sooner? Are they going to need a new knee sooner? When the body breaks down, when alignment isn't happening and the body breaks down, research is showing that cortisol levels go way up when we're caved forward. Cortisol levels go up, substance P goes up. We get into this pain and symptomatic response, and testosterone levels go down. And so UCLA did a study about people just before they went in for job interviews. And what they did was they had them spit in a cup, and then they checked their hormone levels. Then they had them slouch for 2 minutes. They took a weak postural position for 2 minutes and then retested their hormones. The people that were in a rolled forward slump, anterior head carriage, posture where they're caved forward, compressed under gravity, those people had, again, higher cortisol levels, lower testosterone. So what they were using the study for was to tell people, if you're in the lobby of a Fortune 500 company waiting for a job interview, get off your cell phone. Because if you're slumped forward looking down on your cell phone, that's going to make a huge difference as to how you command the room. But you can look at nature and look at hierarchy and alpha males and apes and gorillas and orangutans and things, and they're going to stand tall, they're going to beat their chest, they're going to hold their arms up. So then they had people take on a strong posture for 2 minutes, retest their hormones, testosterone levels went up, cortisol levels went down, substance P levels went down. And what they found was these people literally had a higher energetic state to be able to command the room, which you want to do if you're going to be leading a meeting or having a job interview, or in our world, you want to get through life, right? You want to have a strong, open, clear, and connected, released posture. And so their recommendation was to go stand in front of the mirror in the bathroom and stretch your arms out, stand tall, take up as much space as possible, because that's going to change your biochemistry. Well, guys, we're doing this all day, every day, and as a happy side effect of us being masters at tensegrity and alignment, biochemistry is improving in people directly and indirectly. So now once we get you up and open, we get those rotations out, the counter rotation, the weak energetic state. Now pain starts to reverse, movement starts to move better, and great things happen. So let's move on to the next slide. Of course, gravity always wins. I spend time talking about anterior head carriage and how grandma and grandpa always fall forward. If you want $1 million piece of advice, when you're going over your report with people and whatever your system is, on whatever day you go over what your findings are, let people know that with your head as far forward as it is, it's just a matter of time until you're folded over your walker just like grandma. Ladies, if you don't want that hump in the top of your back, this is something we need to get working on now, because gravity is winning and we need to do something against it. Well, that will get people's attention, just like the tingly feeling of toothpaste gets their attention. Their teeth aren't any cleaner with tingly toothpaste, but they've been led to believe that that's the case. And so people think that they're ugly if they have rounded shoulders and a hunchback. And we don't have to agree or disagree with that, but we can just tell them, hey, that's completely preventable, but we need to get moving on this. And that's a true statement. Let's go on to the next slide. Same conversation. Let's skip that one. Okay, so if we get this wrong, these are slides of patients from the office. The slide on the left was when Carol came into the office in 2015. She had a 16.5 degree bend in her lumbar spine, and her kids said, "Do not get care from that guy. He is just trying to rip you off. There's nothing that wrong with you. He just wants your money." True story. Her kids said, "Mom, you're not doing it. Don't waste your money on this guy." The picture on the right is 4 years later. She came back and said, I wish I had listened. I think things are getting worse. And we know that time is not on our side because gravity never takes a break. And so if alignment matters, we want to work on it the minute we realize it's an issue. So 4 years later, Carol had double the curve in her spine, in her lumbar spine. Also had to have a pacemaker installed. Was walking terribly. It was bad news. She's in on a walker now. She's not in a wheelchair, which is really cool. But the challenge is, least importantly, she needed about 30% more care than she did 4 years ago. And so that ended up being a lot more money for her. That's not the most important. What's most important is she has 4 years of her life that she'll never get back. Could have been much different of an outcome for her. Things rapidly deteriorated once she was at that point. Let's go to the next slide. And so this is how we have a conversation with people. If we get this right but wait too long, so this is a picture of Jane. The view on the left, the 6 months apart between these pictures, you might be able to even see the date under the black box that's boxed out. The date of the exams are 6 months apart. The view on the left shows that she had a right low hip and that the hip was coming up after, this is a 6-month check-in. She had 3 spine surgeries, and her neurosurgeon told her if she was going to see a chiropractor, she was never welcome back in his office. He told her that she needed a 4th surgery, and she decided to come and have us work on her. After a few weeks, she was much improved. She was taking 8 Norco. I don't know how she survived that. She was off her medication and wrote her surgeon a scathing letter about how he needs to come out and check and see what we're doing and stop cutting and that sort of thing. Let's go to the next slide. The next 2 are still pictures of Jane. So we can see, and this is what I explained when we talk about why alignment matters, that the view on the left, her spine was 12 millimeters off center, right? The T1 was 12 millimeters off center. And that if this is a to the community conversation, I'm telling them, you might be told you need surgery, and I can't decide whether you need surgery or not, but what I can tell you is, before you have the surgery, let's make sure your spine is straightened out, because they can bracket things together like they did with Jean, but her spine is still this far out of alignment to the left. On the right, after 6 months of care, her spine is in such better alignment. She was able to go to concerts with friends, and she would come in and just bawl her eyes out about how much she had her life back. It's remarkable the changes she got. Let's go to the next slide. And this is the lateral lumbar view of Jane, and we're noticing that the space between L5 and sacrum has doubled in 6 months, just about doubled in 6 months time, and that was below the area where she had a triple laminectomy infusion. And if we're ever told, or if patients are ever told, hey, there's nothing we can do about this, once you have surgery, there's nothing that can be done. Well, that's not true at all. We can get massive change because the body is smarter than some hardware. It makes it harder, but the body is smarter than hardware, and it can move and shift and adapt. And Jane got her life back after just 6 months of this. Well, sooner than that. Let's go to the next slide. This is a picture of Lubna lateral cervicals. She was told she had a reverse curve in her neck, which isn't that big of a deal. That's what she was told. She was told she has severe arthritis in her neck, but that's no big deal. That's what happens when you get old, like 45. That's how old she was in this picture. You get really bad arthritis as you age, and it's just not that big of a deal. The problem was they owned a gas station, and her husband got shot and killed in the gas station. She's running the gas station and raising 4 kids, and she can't feel her hands. So while somebody was telling her that in her mid-40s it wasn't that big of a deal, we were able, with QSM3, we don't do anything else. We don't throw weights over the door or have people do anything like that. This was 6 months of QSM3 care. The reverse curve in her neck totally came out, and she's got a beautiful curve in her spine. Numbness was gone after, I don't know, I'd have to check her notes, but 2 or 3 months, about halfway through the first phase. So it didn't happen right away, but the position of her head is much better, curve in her neck is much better, and what was causing the degeneration in her mid and lower cervicals, the cause of that, which was the big misalignment, had been corrected. Let's go to the next slide. These are this is magnesium. This was back when, I don't even know, yeah, I guess it was QSM3 because it had the name on there. But in NUCA, I was a left laterality, 10/16 plane line. These pictures were taken the same day when Russell was starting to tell us about, look at that notation, man. Post QSM3 -1.5 counterclockwise. I don't even know what any of that stuff means anymore, but we're trying to, figure stuff out. And this is magnesium, man. After one QSM3 adjustment, even a dog catches a bone once in a while. And this was an associate that was working in my office back in 2011 and 12. And so we had him set up and then repost, and the technique was slightly different. But that's a beautiful change. And when I share this, I share that the view on the left was after 6 years of NUCA care from board certified NUCA doctors. Not saying it didn't help me, but you can see what my re-pre was there. And, I'm thrilled that was able to. Let's go to the next slide. So we're still in the alignment section. You notice how much time I spend on alignment because nobody else is having the conversation. Russell, you remember Adnan? This is Adnan. Yep. And he came in from Saudi Arabia, and I show people, this is pre and post one adjustment. Same jeans, same shirt. This was before and after an adjustment, to get him lifted and back up on center. Getting him to stay there was certainly a challenge, but he at least would respond to the adjustment. Let's go to the next slide. And then the fourth thing we talk about as a biohack is nervous system function. So let's go to the next slide here. This part's not going to be, we can skip that. You guys all know the purpose of the brain and nervous system. And then I talk about how we scan the nervous system. We can skip that. You guys are familiar with Insight technology, but patients love it. So what we talk about at our office is a signature biostructural analysis. And it's a 10-point posture IQ check. It's an Insight 3-dimensional nerve scan, and it's direct digital x-ray. And so that's the conversation we have with really everybody in our community. And it really inspires a lot of people because what they realize is that nobody else is having the conversation. And they're saying, you know what, this makes a lot of sense because yes, I'm breaking down. Yes, and you're addressing things that everybody knows is a problem. If you were talking to people about autonomic dysfunction, which we do, but we just kind of sprinkle it in there because nobody's walking around asking for help with autonomic dysfunction, right? And so while you could certainly charge that hill if you want to and teach people what it is first and go through a 7-step cycle to get them educated before they come in, all you really have to talk about is alignment and proper nervous system function. Dr. Bob Brooks has one of the best explanations I've ever heard. I'm sure most of us on here have heard it, but he talks all the time about how accidents and injuries tear loose the connective tissue that holds the spine together. The spine breaks down and locks in a stressed position. It makes one leg appear shorter than the other, one hip to appear higher than the other. It creates a twisting of the body framework, abnormal motion, and progressive tearing of every joint in the body. If you explain that to people, they get it. And now you're not telling them that their microwave, the thing that looks like a microwave, is actually a refrigerator. People reject things unless they have a contrarian mindset. People reject things that are unfamiliar to them. So you can have any conversation you want, but make sure that you're anchoring this to something that they've already committed to. One last point on that, and then actually, if you want to go to the next slide, there's a QR code there. If you guys get your phones out, you can just grab a picture of the QR code and request the slides, and I'll send them right over to you. All you do is open the camera app on your phone, and then just you don't even take the picture, you just hold it in front of you there, and then you can request the slides or whatever it is. If you want to come see what we're doing, or schedule a strategy call or something, I can have a conversation with you. I like to do that as a value add from these talks. But, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. But what, you know, if somebody comes in and we do an assessment on them and we show them that their posture's off. I had a kid in today who wants to be a neurosurgeon, and another one earlier that wanted to be an anesthesiologist, and was like, I thought I wanted to do this, but I, you know, after hearing about this stuff, I have to at least look at it. And you know, they're not having major symptoms. They're an undergrad, so they're not having major symptoms. But the conversation then becomes, hey, let's talk about something they're already familiar with. If a dentist did an X-ray on your teeth and saw there was a cavity there, even if it didn't hurt yet, are you the type of person that would do something about that, or would you let it go until your mouth started hurting? And there's no right or wrong answer, and I'm not going to pass judgment on how you answer that question. I simply need to know the type of person that's sitting in front of me here. And if they say, well, I would let it go till my mouth hurt and I couldn't eat anymore, and then I do something with it, great. Then you can wait until this gets worse. You're not going to get the time back, but you know, you're entitled to wait, right? We don't have to pressure them because the truth will do. But if they say, no, I'm somebody that would get the cavity filled, you know, I don't want to let my tooth rot. And the challenge is, if your tooth rots, they can yank it out, put a fake one in. Once your spine breaks down and starts to fuse together, there's really not a whole lot we can do at that point. And so it's just, you share it reasonably with people, and it makes a lot of sense, and they appreciate that you're communicating it in such a way that they can do something with it. We don't want to talk over their heads. So go ahead and unmute yourselves. I would love, you know, again, I'm so sorry for the first 30 minutes, and I don't ever want to waste your time. But I want to answer any questions you guys have, and I'll stick on until the last one of you are here, and I'll answer any questions you have or explain if you have any real life scenarios or challenges that you're having with how to communicate something like this work to patients. I'm more than happy to help you with it. So everybody's muted. I don't know if there's a way for us to unmute everyone, or if you have to do it on your own. Also, I won't see the chat because I'm not the host right now. So if you have any questions, go ahead and unmute and ask, and I'll.
It looks like everybody is open, Jonathan. I see everybody's opened up.
I see Artosh is muted. Dawn is muted.
I got it. Yeah, that was off my screen. I'm taking everybody off.
Got it.
I'm going to demand that they ask you a question. So I'm putting them all on the spot.
They don't have to. The first question I'll just go ahead and answer. I know what it's going to be. Is how do you not know how to present Keynote on a WebEx? And I'll figure it out. Maybe I need a new computer.
Well, I would say I have a
question.
What type of settings have you found these presentations to be good settings?
Well, so this was a presentation I pulled from 4 different talks I give, and I put those into one to share with the Q community, saying the first couple slides are ones that I share with other professionals. If I'm going to talk to a PT group or an OT group or MDs or whatever, I'll have that conversation with them where I show Russell's full spine that he took of his patient. And I share that and have that conversation with them. If it's primary care provider, you know, you got to speak to the room. So if it's a primary care group, I'll ask them, where do you send this guy? I mean, you're the primary care providers. They're coming to you. You're the hub here. Where are you going to send this poor guy that's having, you know, whatever it was, 40 grand mal episodes per month before he started care, trigeminal neuralgia, blood pressure issues, cerebral palsy? Where do you send this guy? And then let him talk. Well, I don't know. We'd send him to. But if the ones you want to talk to are the ones that have that struggle in their eye, that go, frick, man, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know what to do with this guy. You know, great. Let's talk about that. You know, This is a 3-dimensional problem. Plato said the part is never healthier than the whole. And if all of the time you're doing is sending people to parts experts, and I butter them up. Look, you guys can run laps around me as far as, cardiac function. And, I don't know how to change a mitral valve in somebody, but I do know that the part is never better than the whole. And somebody, and then I raise my hand, needs to be addressing this as a whole. You guys do what you're doing, but we need to make sure that we're addressing this as a whole. And when you start having that conversation with people, I'll tell you what I don't hear. I don't hear, does insurance cover it anymore? I don't hear how many visits. I don't hear, right? Because the answer is, does insurance cover it? Does it matter? I mean, look at this guy. How many visits? I don't know. We don't have a set protocol, but everybody deserves an assessment. And if there's somebody that is struggling, you're having a hard time getting responses out of, let me work on them. Let's do the global approach here, the 3-dimensional approach, the soft tissue. It's safe. I have patients that are 2 weeks old and patients that are in their mid 90s who have had fractured necks from auto accidents before. Let's do something that's safe and effective together. And they love it. My gosh, they love being able. Dr. Kocher is on. He's our newest associate. Does not come from a Q background, and he's kind of helping us out. And he's got to see firsthand from and he was in a very effective model in the Chicago area. But he gets to see every day that he's in the office, people coming in and getting their lights turned on, and it's a great environment. So yeah, it's a different. I'll share with whoever will listen, Bartosz. That's really
Cool.
the answer. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for answering that.
Dr. Kocher, if you're comfortable, I'd love to have you just chime in, in a couple words and just share, what you've seen coming from a full spine model that's working great for you, by the way, not disillusioned with technique or practice or anything like that, just moving closer to family. What is it that you've observed practicing several years in a full spine model and then seeing that we're doing? I don't want to call you an outsider because you're one of us, but outside the Q organization until recently, what is your observation on it?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, from my experience prior to joining your clinic, I was doing full spine CBP technique. So we did cervical traction. Funny how you said hanging weights from a door. We did it from a chair.
Nice.
And we did physical therapy. So we had rehab and full spine adjustments. So each visit for a patient would be about a 45 to 50 minute session. And you're achieving similar results in correction that we would. We did 3-month care plans, and you're doing the 6-month care plans, and we were very intensive. We did like 3 to 4 times a week with therapies. So in a nutshell, what I'm seeing is you guys are getting similar results, even though let's just isolate time as a different factor in your protocol. You're achieving the same results without doing rehab, and I think that's really eye-opening to me. And the QSM3, the actual technique, you've done that on me several times, and I think maybe 2 or 3 times. I can't really remember. And I've noticed changes in areas of my body that I've never really had noticed in full spine adjustments. For example, you worked my you worked my neck, and my right calf released, and I thought that was one of the coolest things.
That is cool. That's great.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to learn the technique and to utilize it and see for myself what I can do with patients that come in.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Are there any other questions? All right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, you can feel free to download those slide sets. They'll come to you. You just fill out a form and request what you want from the presentation, and everything that's in here you'll get as a slide set. So I'll stick around for a couple more minutes. If you're done, you can go ahead and sign off. If there are any other questions, I'll stick around for a few. Thanks for being
again,
here tonight,
Doc.
guys. Sorry for the technical trouble.
All good. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for your help.
Awesome. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Sure thing.